So we've all heard the story, right?
Oh, yeah. The birth of Athena.
I mean, it's got to be the most metal entrance in all of mythology.
Absolutely. No contest.
You have Zeus with this splitting headache. Literally, they describe it as a pressure, like thunder trapped behind bone.
And then just crack.
Yeah, crack. His skull splits open and out she steps. Not a baby, a fully grown woman in armor, holding a spear.
And she doesn't cry, she roars.
She roars. It's such a powerful image. But, looking through the sources we have for today's deep dive, I think we often get distracted by the sheer violence of it all.
The spectacle.
The spectacle, exactly. And we miss the really profound contradiction of what actually walked out of that head.
That's the danger with this sort of pop culture version of Athena. We love the spectacle. But the sources we're digging into today, from the Homeric hymns all the way to modern analysis, they paint a picture of a deity who is, well, she's a paradox.
A paradox, yeah. She's the goddess of war for sure. But she is born from the seed of reason.
And that's the whole thing.
Right. And that's the hook for this deep dive. We're so used to thinking of war gods as, chaotic. Ares on the battlefield, all screaming in blood and dust.
Total chaos.
But the text describes Athena's arrival so differently. It says, this war could think. And that one distinction changes everything.
This war could think.
Right.
That's the perfect thesis. Because you look at the rest of the pantheon, and it is filled with excess. Zeus is all power and ego. Poseidon is just pure emotional turbulence.
Ares is bloodlust.
Right. But Athena represents the pause. She's that split second of calculation right before the strike. And what we want to explore is how that very specific quality, that hyper-rationality, made her arguably the most powerful player on the board.
Okay, so to really get that power, we have to go back to the biology of it, or I guess the theology of that birth. Because it wasn't just some random headache. There's a whole prequel here that usually gets glossed over, and it involves her mother, Metis.
Right. You absolutely cannot understand the daughter without first understanding the mother.
And Metis wasn't just some minor goddess.
Not at all. She was the personification of cunning intelligence.
And the sources are pretty clear that Zeus didn't just marry her. He swallowed her.
He did.
Which, that feels like a standard evil tyrant move in Greek mythology, right? Just swallow the threat.
It is, but you have to look closer at the motivation. There was a prophecy.
The cycle of succession.
Exactly. The prophecy said a son born to Metis would be stronger than Zeus, just like Zeus was stronger than his father, Kronos. So by swallowing Metis, Zeus wasn't just getting rid of a wife.
He was trying to break the fundamental rule of the universe. The son always overthrows the father.
You're trying to end the cycle.
So by eating cunning intelligence, he internalizes it.
Precisely. And this is the real aha moment for her origin. Athena isn't born from a womb, from flesh. She is born from that internalized cunning. She's the external projection of Zeus's own absorbed wisdom.
Wow.
That's why she's the only one he trusts with his lightning bolts. She's not a rival.
She's an extension of his own mind. That reframes her completely. She's not just another soldier. She's the stabilizer. She represents the moment the cosmos stops being this violent cycle of overthrows and becomes
a hierarchy, a government.
She is the end of the revolution and the beginning of the state.
She is wisdom made visible. And because she comes from the head, her biology is strategy. She doesn't have to learn it. She just is it.
Which explains why she was born in her armor. It's not a costume for her.
It's part of her.
And that brings us to the gear itself. I was looking through the breakdown of her iconography, and it's fascinating how every single piece of kit she wears is really a philosophical statement.
It's a language. If you know how to read it, her armor tells you exactly how she operates.
Okay, let's start with the helmet. In most art, she has it pushed back or you can see her eyes, but the text really emphasizes that the helmet is about hiding intent.
Well, think about the fog of war. In any situation, a negotiation or a battle, if I know what you're feeling, I can manipulate you.
You have the advantage.
A huge advantage. If I see fear in your eyes, or anger, or hesitation, I can use that. Athena's helmet is the discipline of the poker face.
She chooses when to show her hand.
She chooses when to reveal her intent. It's the difference between reacting and responding.
And then you have the spear. The description here is precise, never wild.
Yeah, and that feels very deliberate, right? A spear isn't a club or a broadsword you just swing around. It's a distance weapon. It needs aim, a steady hand.
Calculated force.
It's all calculated.
Yeah.
But the piece of gear that really defines her, and I think the one that confuses people most, is the aegis, The shield.
Right, the shield with the head of Medusa on it. This always seemed like such a contradiction to me. Here's the goddess of wisdom, the defender of cities, and she's walking around with the severed head of a gorgon on her chest.
It's horrific.
It is, it's a monster. Why would the champion of order wear a symbol of pure chaos?
That is the million-dollar question.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer, I think, lies in the concept of assimilation. If you just destroy a monster, its power is gone. But if you use the monster, you control its power.
So it's the weaponization of terror.
Exactly. Medusa's gaze turns men to stone. It freezes them in panic. By putting that on her shield, Athena is saying, I have conquered terror, and now I wield it to protect the city.
It's a political statement.
It's a very intense one. It says the state has a monopoly on violence. I am the barrier between you and the dark because I own the dark.
That connects to the owl, too. If the shield is weaponized terror, the owl is weaponized perception.
Yes. The owl sees in the dark. While everyone else is blind or asleep, the owl is quietly processing information. In a military sense, that's intelligence.
Reconnaissance.
It's knowing the terrain before the enemy even wakes up.
So if you put it all together, the helmet for discipline, the spear for precision, the aegis for controlled terror, and the owl for intelligence.
What do you get?
She's basically the ultimate special ops commander.
She is the professionalization of warfare, which of course brings us to the inevitable comparison. You can't talk Athena without talking Ares.
The other war god. And looking at the sources, the Greeks were pretty clear about who they preferred. Ares seems like a problem.
Ares is necessary, in a way. He's the adrenaline dump. He is the physical act of violence, the scream, the blood, the frenzy.
But they didn't really pray to him for victory.
No, they prayed to him to stay away. Or they respected him like you'd respect a hurricane, a force of nature. But Athena
is the general.
Athena is the one you pray to when you actually want to win. And that's the key. Ares loves the battle. Athena loves the victory. There's a huge difference.
The text says she loves the moment before battle began. That gave me chills.
Me too.
It's that silence, where the strategy is already set and the outcome is inevitable because you've completely outthought your opponent.
It's checkmate before the pieces have even moved.
And this preference, this focus on the long game versus the immediate impulse, it's not just about war. It plays out in peacetime, too.
It does.
We have to talk about the contest for Athens. This is one of the most famous myths, but I want to dig into the economic side of it that the commentaries point out.
Oh, this is a pivotal moment in human history, mythologically speaking. It's the transition from a raiding culture to a settled one.
So you have Poseidon and Athena both vying for the city's patronage.
Mm-hmm.
Poseidon goes first. He strikes the ground and creates a spring of salt water. Or in some versions, he gives them the first horse.
Let's stick with the horse, because that's a much more potent symbol.
Yeah.
What is a horse in the Bronze Age?
It's a tank. It's military tech. It's speed, mobility.
Conquest. It's a tool for expansion. It says, we will go out and take what isn't ours. It's a very masculine, very aggressive offering. I give you power.
And then Athena steps up, and she just kneels down and plants an olive tree. Now, if I'm a citizen of a city-state surrounded by enemies, a horse sounds a lot more practical than a tree.
You'd think so.
So why did they vote for the tree?
Because of what the tree implies. You can't really eat a horse. I mean, you can, but it's a waste of a war asset. An olive tree gives you oil, which is food, fuel, soap. It's the basis for an entire economy.
Okay, but it's slow.
It's very slow. Think about how long it takes for an olive tree to actually bear fruit.
Years, decades sometimes to get fully established.
Exactly. So to plant an olive tree is to make a bet on stability. It requires peace. It requires a society that plans to be in one place for a long, long time. Poseidon offered the tools to win a war.
Athena offered the foundation of a civilization.
Something slower, something that lasts.
That's a huge shift in mindset. It's the difference between a startup trying to disrupt everything and a blue-chip company building lasting infrastructure.
And the city chose the infrastructure. They chose the difficult path of civilization over the easy path of plunder. That is the wisdom of Athena.
So she secures the city, establishes order, but she doesn't just, stay up on Olympus. What I found really compelling in this research is her role as a divine guide. She seems to have a very specific type of hero she likes to work with. She's not hanging out with the berserkers.
No, absolutely not. She favors the polytropos, the many turning minds, the thinkers. Her relationship with Odysseus is the gold standard for this.
In the Odyssey, she's constantly in his ear. But, and this is key, She doesn't fight his battles for him.
She can't. If she fought his battles, he wouldn't become the hero she needs him to be. She provides clarity.
Clarity.
Yeah, there's a scene where Odysseus wakes up on a beach, and he has no idea where he is. The mist is thick. All Athena does is lift the mist. That's her primary function. Remove the illusion so you can see the reality.
So it's cognitive. She's not giving him super strength. She's giving him a plan.
Right, and look at Perseus. This is a psychological masterclass.
Yeah.
He has to kill Medusa. If he looks at her directly, he dies. He is facing a trauma so great that it cannot be processed head-on.
So Athena gives him the polished shield, not to block a blow, but to reflect.
She teaches him to look at the reflection. This is such a profound insight into how we handle fear. You can't always stare the monster in the face. Sometimes you have to look at it indirectly, analyze it, and strike via that reflection.
She gave him a way to detach himself from the terror so he could actually function.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's almost therapeutic.
Don't let the fear paralyze you. Change your perspective.
That's it. She is the voice of reason when your amygdala, your lizard brain, is just screaming, run or fight. She is the prefrontal cortex stepping in and saying, wait, analyze, execute.
But, and we have to pivot here because we promised a full picture. This rationality has a cold edge to it, a very cold edge.
Oh, absolutely.
We can't talk about Athena without talking about Arachne.
No, we can't. And this is where I think modern sensibilities really struggle with her. We want her to be this benevolent mentor, but she is an Olympian god, and she is the goddess of authority.
The story of Arachne is usually framed as, like, a jealousy thing. Arachne was a weaver. She boasted she was better than Athena. They have a weave-off. Athena can't find a flaw in Arachne's work, so she gets angry and turns her into a spider. It sounds petty.
It does. But the sources suggest there's something much deeper going on than just a talent show. It wasn't about the skill, the Greeks' respected skill. It was about the source of the skill. Arachne's claim was that her talent was entirely her own, that she owed nothing to the divine.
So it was the hubris.
It was the refusal to acknowledge the hierarchy. In the Greek worldview, civilization depends on order. Gods, then kings, then citizens. If a mortal stands up and says, I am equal to a god, the entire structure cracks.
And looking at what Arachne actually wove, it wasn't just a pretty picture. She wove a tapestry that depicted all the crimes of the gods.
He was airing out all the dirty laundry of Olympus.
She was using her art to critique the ruling class.
Exactly. So to our modern ears, Arachne sounds like a brave whistleblower, a revolutionary artist. But to Athena, who's the guardian of the state, Arachne is an anarchist. She represents disorder.
A threat to the system.
A threat to the whole system. So the punishment, turning her into a spider, it wasn't just spite. It was putting her in her place. It was saying, you want to weave without the gods, fine. You can weave forever, but as a mindless beast, stripped of your humanity.
That's terrifying.
It is. It's a terrifying reminder that Athena is not nice. She is just, according to the laws of Olympus, but she is not kind. She protects the system. And if you threaten the system,
she will remove you. Talent without humility is a threat.
That's the lesson.
That adds a really necessary shadow to her character. She's the protector, but she's also the gatekeeper. She's the establishment.
She is. And that's why she's more than just a character in a story. She's a force that governs how we organize ourselves.
Okay, so let's bring this all into the present. We've looked at the birth from the mind, the strategic gear, the preference for, economy over raw force, and then this ruthless defense of order. Where does Athena live today? I mean, if we aren't sacrificing bulls to her, is she still around?
I think she's more relevant now than she has ever been. We are living in an age of Aries. The internet is pure Aries. Constant noise, constant conflict, immediate reaction, outrage loops.
The scream is louder than it's ever been.
Exactly. But Athena lives in the spaces where we resist that. She lives in the courtroom, where evidence is supposed to matter more than emotion. She lives in the laboratory, where data overrides belief.
Okay.
And she lives in that split second where you read an email that makes you furious and you hover your finger over reply all.
Oh, I know that feeling.
And then you stop.
You take a breath. You put on the helmet.
You let that still flame burn off the anger and you write a response that actually solves the problem. That is Athena. It's the internal war between your impulse and your reason.
And it is the hardest fight there is. It's so much easier to just throw the lightning bolt.
It is. Power is easy. Destruction is easy. Building something, planting that olive tree, formulating the strategy, keeping your cool when the world is on fire, that is hard.
The source material leaves us with a final thought that I think frames this perfectly. It's more of a challenge, really.
It is. It asks you, if power is easy, but wisdom is hard, which will you choose when the moment comes?
That's the question she's asking us every single time we face a crisis. Are we going to react or are we going to think?
And she's just standing there, spear grounded, shield up, waiting to see if we're brave enough to choose the hard way.
A sobering thought to end on. Next time you feel that headache coming on, maybe it's an idea trying to get out. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.